Hello, Doofing here, coming to you from the mission editor. I am running an experiment where I am going to run the warbirds against each other, flying the same profile, but seeing what the actual speeds are, because people on YouTube and me get very different results in terms of speeds for these different warbirds. And so I wanted to find out. I'm going to fly to Batumi. I'm going to start up by the X, and I'm going to start at the default altitude of like 6,500, whatever it is, and drop down to the deck as soon as I can. Coming out of that dive, I'm going to try to level out and see what speed I top out at. And then if I make it to Batumi, I'll land there. Here we are in the Mustang. I'm going to firewall the throttle and I'm going to leave it there. Everything else is standard. All the warbirds have the standard amount of fuel that they come with. Some of those are 66% of the fuel, like this one or the P-47. Some have their tanks topped off. I have not changed any of the settings since I generated it in the mission editor and did not make any changes then. So this is as is. I'm going to drop out of the default alt. I have really changed nothing on any of these, so just as I load in, I don't even do anything in the cockpit really. I'm just going to firewall the throttle, leave it there, and see what I'm getting. I'm getting a little under 500 miles an hour coming out of this dive here. My speedometer is on the left-hand side. Notable other gauge is on the right-hand side at the bottom. That is my engine coolant temperature. I'm going to keep an eye on that as well. Just above the coolant temperature is the RPM gauge, and the boost gauge is just above that, just to the right and bottom of the gun sight. So here I am. I've already dropped down to about 450. Yeah, it's actually cooking along pretty quick. Yeah, this is a bit faster than I expected, but this is one of the faster birds in the game. I don't fly it often. I think the engine's pretty fragile. Maybe I should fly it more. I'm doing exactly zero engine management here, by the way. I believe the radiator flaps are automatic coming out of this. There's no wartime emergency power that I've applied. Not really sure how I would do it. I do know that it does have WEP in this. I believe that's just a governor override. Ooh, something happened. There goes my coolant temperature. I just pegged. Yeah, this engine is not long for the world. RPM and boost still holding. Speed's dropping off though. I don't think I'm going to be able to set this down. Yeah, guns work. Guns haven't been overheated. Oh, there it goes. That's not me. It's firewalls, or the throttle's still firewall. The engine is dead. And there it goes. I'm going into the drink. Oh no. Okay, attempt number 2. I'm going to firewall the throttle. I'm going to hold it there, but I'm going to open up the cooling flaps. Which, if I can find my... There it is. That's the coolant flap open, I believe. Not an expert here. And the oil coolant control flaps. I'm driving like that. Alright. Aviate, then navigate. Yeah, alright. Okay. Throttle firewalled. I'm at 475? Yeah. That's in miles per hour, by the way. Okay. Alright, back on the flight profile here. down to 400. I'm already remarkably slower than I was on my first attempt here. Okay. Just gotta hold this and not crash into the water. Alright. Let's see. Gauges and pressures. I'm still at my maximum regulated pressure, but that's what that pressure regulator does. I am at the top of the RPM band. I've still got some area to go on the coolant area there. All the other pressures look good. Down below 450. All right. .25. Holding 425. Able to see the water, how close I am to the water when I look left and right, better than I can when I'm flying straight at it. Alright. Still in the game here, still at 425. That's where I'm at. Close to the water. Okay, pull up a little bit. Alright. I'm going to navigate past Batumi Harbor here. I do like how this bird handles. This is pretty sweet. And this is fast that I'm using. Ooh, seagulls. Yeah, seagulls. Seagulls, there's my sailboat. Alright. Almost there. Ooh. Coolant just pegged. Just pegged coolant. Alright. We'll lose the engine soon. And we're really close to the tune. Oh no, there goes my speed. Speed is dropping off pretty fast there. Alright, landing gear down. Let's see if I can get it all the way down. I don't actually get an on-cockpit indication without electrical power. Let's go to external view. Yeah, wheels are down. Okay. Alright, let's see if I can at least... Oh, I'm not going to make it to the airport. I'm going to have to put it down onto the beach. Heroic landing time. Let's see what I can do. That wasn't bad. Oh. Alright, still there, still there. Okay, I put it down and I'm charging straight toward building. Pow. Oof. Okay, so here I am in the P-47D. I'm going to do the same thing here. Firewall the throttle. I'm not going to be using much boost, I don't think, because of the altitude. Got some boost going on there. Notable gauges are going to be my boost pressure, my... Let's see, that's just below the artificial horizon there, just off the screen. It's pegged at about 50, which is the most I can safely take on right now. For temporarily, it's supposed to be less than that. Alright, speedometer is at 300 and just over 350 right now, coming out of the dive, which is remarkably slower than the Mustang. Go between these two buildings. That's the start of my profile. Again, I haven't opened any coolant flaps. I haven't done anything with anything. I just loaded in and flew. Firewalled the throttle. Okay, boost is down a little bit. Temps and pressures look okay, but my speed's bleeding off. down to, is that 325? Boost pressure is completely negative right now. I'm still above my max continuous though. Just off the supercharger, I can see my auxiliary tank is empty and my main tank is full. I do have quite a bit of seat time in this. Aside from that, I have no real preferences as to how these things handle. I'm just wanted to see what the real thing is for how this handles for me in terms of speed and speed on the deck. Because, you know, at 30,000 feet, there's going to be quite a bit of difference. There's going to be quite a little less drag, and it's going to be quite dependent on things like, you know, boost pressure and how much MW50. This has MW50. I am not using it. I don't think I'm going to use it for the German planes. This is just as is when you jump into the cockpit. The exception being, of course, the BF 109, which has the MW50 turned on. I'm going to make a show of turning that off because I want to see what this plane actually gets, you know, apples to apples. Alright, speed is down to about 300. It's about normal, 300 to 325 for down at this altitude. Firewall throttle, I'm not having any engine notifications of danger yet. There's the sailboat. There's the seagull. Alright. Not nearly as fast as the Mustang. I'm going to mark it as 300 miles per hour as what I'm getting here. Okay. There is the airport. I'm going to cross the line of the runway and I'm going to cut back on the throttle and whip around for a landing. Gear coming down, flaps coming down. Alright, back on the throttle, maintain airspeed. Yeah, actually made it this time. Looks like the P-51 doesn't have enough range to make it from that X airport to Batumi airport. Well, doesn't have enough engine coolant. Got loads of fuel. Alright, let's see if I can land this. I'm a little rusty today. But if you are a developer and you want to bribe me to make your modules look good, go ahead and DM me. Otherwise, nobody's actually paid me that money yet, so this is all fair and balanced, I guess is the term. And no, I bent the landing gear. Okay. I could just skid to a stop, but I'm going to crash and burn because people love explosions. Pow. Alright, this is the Dora, the FW190 Dora. Okay, so I'm getting into the cockpit here. Red line. Firewall throttle. Okay, so that, if I can find my cursor, there's my cursor. Okay, so that is the MW50 switch. Turn it on, turn it off. No cheater juice today, so I'm turning it off. I'll do the conversions after I record the audio here, but 700 kilometers an hour almost in this dive, which is not shabby. Actually, that's pretty fast. Alright. there are my two buildings. Let's start the profile. Coming out of the dive at about 720 kilometers an hour. Okay, down to 700. Let's see what we top out here, because that's fast. Yeah, speed dropping off 650. Still fast. $610. Yeah, good old USA markings. That's 600 right there indicated. All right. Still a little bit of a dive. Let's see if we can even that out. Okay, just below 600. Still like 590. This plane is pretty quick, even without the MW50. Sure I don't hit the water here. That's about 685. Coming up on my landmarks here. That was me sticking my head out through the glass. Yeah, that's sorry. Not an engine malfunction. There's my sailboats. Let's make sure I don't crash into the water here. Still holding 685, or sorry, 585. 585 kilometers per hour. Right there between 585 and 590-ish. There is the airport. And off the throttle. Leading off the speed. Okay. Gear down. Like gear tabs coming up. Little red tabs sticking out of the wing. That tells me that my landing gear is down. Little number there shows me what my flaps are doing. Flaps are coming down. Back on the power. Alright. Coming around. Engine's still working well, no indications of a problem. Okay. Landing gear down, flaps down. And maintaining speed now. It's 250, still a little high for approach speed. Let's see if we can bleed some of that off. Alright, there we go, there we go. Not bad, but it bounced. Let's see. Come down right again. Let's see. Did I brand the landing gear? I think I'm okay. Nope. There we go. I'm over. Yeah. Alright. Loading into Mosquito here. Okay, gauges a note. Speedo's right there under the windscreen next to the gun sight here. I don't care about any of my T's and P's. I've just firewalled the throttle and I get what I get. Just looking at my T's and P's, making sure I'm not going to blow up the engine here. Or the engines, I've got two of them. Alright. It's actually pretty fast. You have to look at that. Let's see what that is on the zoom in video, because I can't see here. I'll be posting it on text updates because of the screwy speedometer. Can't read it from the video editor. On the profile, down on the deck. This nose is kind of screwy. I can't really tell if I'm pitched up or down. I've got to use my VSI, which is exactly hidden behind the gun sight. I can't see it right now. I'm going to err with the side of caution and be a little higher than normal. To the developers, or the ED, that artificial horizon is absolutely worthless without a cage function. Like, there's no cage knob. So, as the errors creep in on the gyro, there's no way to cage it and reset it. Absolutely awful. Drifting down to something reasonable. If this plane was actually fast, I think I'd fly it more. But it's fast when airplanes are quite slow. Man, I really can't read that. It's coming down to the bottom of the gauge there. Still in the secondary numbers. Approaching my landmarks. Just make out my sailboats. There's sailboat 1, sailboat 2. Okay. There's the town of Batumi. It looks like the engines are going to make it. Though I'm abusing them by just leaving them firewalled, doing no engine management. I can see by those blue switches up on the upper right. I've thought below just to the right of the trim indicator. That is my cooling flap switches. They are currently closed, I think. Again, I don't know this bird all that well. But I've done nothing to do any engine management, and there's the end of the runway. Just as it is, fuel-wise and setting-wise, is when you drop into the cockpit on an air start. Okay, landing gear down. Back onto the power. It's not a bad view out of this. It just doesn't feel like a proper fighter for me. I don't know. I wouldn't know what a proper fighter feels like. I'm an I-16 fan. Alright, coming in here. Oh, too much, yeah. Alright, come on, come on. There we go. Put it down. But it looks like the tail's gonna drag me to the left, and now I've overcompensated and the tail's gonna drag me around a ground loop, and I'm over. Alright, here we are in the Anton, W190A8. Starting to really like this one, but let's see how it stands up to the others here. Again, we're using kilometers per hour. I will do the conversions on text, but here I'm just going to have to use the native here. We're coming up at 630, 650 in the dive. Almost 700. Alright, that's actually pretty fast. That's as fast as I was getting with the other ones. Not quite 700, but close. Alright, starting the profile. Already the speed's dropping off. Still above 600 kilometers an hour. In terms of how modeled it is versus the Dora, I think this is actually a much better model. In terms of all the cockpit implementations, I think the Dora is very much a simplified version of this. I'll probably bring that up in a later video. But in terms of proper modeling for all the buttons and switches, I think this is actually a better module. I just think the Dora is a better plane. Okay. Not even looking at the engine gauge, so I can't tell what's going on. They're there underneath those the little gauges down there underneath the primary flight gauges. It appears everything's normal, but I don't know this module well enough to know. I just got a firewall. They're down to about 515, 520 kilometers per hour, which is, you know, significantly slower than the Dora. Yeah, it's holding that speed. I call that 520-ish. Bit higher than 520, but I'm still in a dive here. Yeah, it's a good looking plane. Alright. Here's my sailboats. Okay. Glaring engine problems yet. I call that 525 kilometers per hour indicated. Okay, here comes the airport. And off the power. Alright. Bringing that around. Again, I've got very little seat time with this, so let's see if I can land it. Does not help that I'm landing in kilometers per hour, so I don't actually know what the stall speed is for this airplane, much less what a even guess would be for that stall speed, because I don't know kilometers per hour very well. But I'm just going to guess off of my sink rate how I'm doing. I did mock the Mosquito for not handling like a fighter, but this is actually handles a lot like the Mosquito. Maybe just a little bit better. I don't know, in terms of roll rate. I don't know these modules well enough. Yeah, my sync rate's still just a little high. The speed, I think I want to keep above 200. No, 150, 180. I don't know, somewhere in there. And I'm really making a dog's breakfast out of this landing. Nope, not putting it down. Looks like the left gear. Yeah, left gear a little bit bent. Alright. But I'm down. And explosions. Oh no, I'm not gonna catch fire, am I? Okay. Spitfire. Iconic. I love how this bird looks. I'm not really a big fan of it in DCS. And I recognize a lot of these gauges from the Mosquito, and I guess, you know, vice versa. Just I've got more seat time in the Mosquito than I do in this plane. Okay. Again, in the video editor, I cannot read this gauge. I will put it up after careful analysis in post. Let's see if I can get on profile. There's my two buildings to start the profile. That gauge is too grainy. Alright, keeping up though. I've got, as far as I can tell, I've got good engine indicators in terms of pressure and temperature. It's a classic Mark 1 skin. I fell in love with this plane at a game, I can't remember the title of it, but it was something over Europe, Battle of Britain, 1940, and that's what got me into World War II planes. And it's sad that I'm not a huge fan of this module in DCS. I guess you just don't fly your heroes. It's not a bad module, it really isn't. I think that in terms of engine management, this is pretty awful, and in terms of ammunition over, you know, the amount of ammunition versus the amount of damage done, that this is pretty weak in my opinion. The 220 millimeters are okay, but you know, I'd rather have the 4 303s or 8 303s or 4 20 mils. There's just too little in terms of firepower and too little in terms of ammunition compared to, say, you know, a Dora or an Anton. You get gobs of ammunition and gobs of firepower. You just got lots of that, and it's not equal. This is also almost has no air-to-ground value in terms of the air-to-ground that I do. Much rather have, you know, the 450 cals in a P-47D or, you know, a Mustang. Not bad in a pinch. Even, you know, the Dora or the Anton. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of air-to-ground, and I don't do a lot of air-to-air. I don't have much seat time in this, so I don't have a whole lot of positive things to say other than I love the look of the Spitfire. Okay, here we are. Sailboats. But man, do I not have a lot of seat time in this. This is one of the first Warbirds I bought. And yet, I still have not have a lot of time in this. It's really sad. However, I know that this bird has its strengths, and I haven't mastered it yet. It's still pretty fast on that gauge, faster than the, yeah, I'm going to bet that's faster than the Mosquito. Alright, there's the airport. Power off. Let the speed bleed off a bit and gear down. Back on the power. Same landing profile as all the others. Gear is down, I think that's what that means. Yeah, okay. Gear indication down. No idea what stall speed is on this. Pretty sure my approach is still a little too fast. And I can't even get it lined up. Alright, let's just put it down. Throttle all the way back. That's not bad, that's not bad. Oof! I think I did it. Hardest warbird to land is the easiest warbird to land. Alright. Wow, I didn't crash. Okay, proud of that landing. Probably shouldn't be, but I didn't wreck the plane. The I-16. Alright, let's see here. Speedometer is present. Okay, there it is. It's just to the left of the stick in kilometers per hour. Into this dive here. Airport. Open cockpit, plenty of fresh air. I'll peg the speedometer, wow. I have not done anything in terms of engine management other than firewall the throttle. Pretty sure this has got a full tank of gas. Speed's down below 450. Yeah, I'll put it up on the post. I'm having trouble reading it here. I do like this airplane. I get a lot of seat time in it because it's a goofball. It really is. It's not. You're not taking DCS seriously if you're in this. I think that's what makes it fun. T's and P's are okay. The speed has kind of plateaued out. The engine looks a little too cool. It's with the red there. All right. take a minute. Get the Batumi at this speed. I think that's 410 in terms of kilometers per hour. Engine's still a little overcooled. I'm not going to mess with it because I'm not going to mess with it. In terms of, you know, scientific integrity here, I'm not going to do any engine management. Speed's consistent. Temperatures right in the middle. Coolant temperatures, or sorry, cylinder head temperature, still cold-ish. Okay, there are my landmarks. My sailboat's coming up here. Sailboat 2, alright. Go down the beach, finish the profile at the end of the runway, and then land. I just realized this is going to take a minute to take the gear down. Particularly at speed, it's going to be impossible. But I'm not going to put the gear down until I am past the runway threshold. Alright, almost there. I crashed the Mustang. Okay, there's the runway and off of the power. Okay. Gear can't come down because I'm going too fast. Alright, as the speed drops off, less wind resistance and it becomes easier to do it. However, it's still not going very fast. Hand cranking. That hand crank is that's the landing gear. Alright. Coming around. Come on, landing gear. This is stressful. Alright. You see those springs rising up along the bow of the top of the instrument panel. That is the landing gear indicators, and the landing gear is fully down now. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can land this bucket. And low, but run rate threshold. Good. There we are. See me down. And nope. Got a ground loop and crash. Pow. Yep. Explosions. Alright. Okay. Here is the BF 109. There is the cheater juice turning the MW50 off. Alright. There is my X-airport. I'm getting a lot of tail-heavy motions coming out of the float in here. I am not going to do much. I'm not even going to try to trim it out. Alright, I'm going to dive. Speedo just passed 500. Headset's wigging out there. Alright. So the only thing I've changed is I have turned the MW50 switch to the off position. We're coming up on 700 kilometers per hour. Start of the profile is just to my left. Close enough. If I maneuver harder than that, I'll lose some speed. Alright. 700, dropping down to about 650. Still dropping off speed. Make sure that the throttle's firewalled. Okay, hovering just below 600 kilometers per hour. Dropping off a little bit. This is a little bit draggier than the Dora. Okay, 550. No, something happened. Is that an engine problem? His speed is dropping like mad. Yeah, I think the engine's going out. Yeah. Okay, alright. It looks like my temperature gauge is pegged. Yes. I think I overheated the engine. Alright, well, let's try that again. Alright, okay, so this time I am going to turn the cheater choose off and I'm going to open the radiator flaps and show you what that has done. Go to an external view and those flaps at the back of the wing, that's the radiator flap, so that being fully open is pulling air through the radiator and it will provide extra cooling, but it will provide drag. Alright, let's see. So we're already just below 600 kilometers per hour, which is, partially my fault because I'm not diving correctly, but also because I've got those radiator flaps open. Okay, 600 kph, starting the profile, ease myself through those two buildings. Right in between. Alright, making way for Batumi Harbor. Settled in. Man, 500 kph. Am I not coordinated? No, I'm not coordinated, but I'm not that far off. Let's see if I can get this trimmed out. Alright. Okay, coordinated now. I'm at 485 kph, thereabouts. It's holding there. A little bit of a dive. Let's see if it picks up. Still dropping off. I'm like 470, 465-ish. Yeah, this plane is not happy without the MW50. That's right at 450 kph. Under 450, I think. I don't know. It's pretty stinking close. It does seem to be holding about 450. Engine coolant temperature's not happy, but it's not pegged. Alright. a little bit north of 450. Yeah, I'm going to call that 460 actually. Okay. Slowly coming up on my landmarks. Yeah, that is definitely north of 450. That is 460. All right. Sailboat 1. Sailboat 2. All right. It looks like I'm going to be able to land this. Not something I can say often with this particular plane. I don't think I've actually ever landed one of these. Okay. And there's the airfield. And off the power. Okay. There's the gear down. Onto the power. Try to regulate at about 300 kph and drop down to about 200 for landing. I have no idea what the stall speed is on this. Please leave in the comments if you think I've done something wrong here. I just did something wrong there. I just bounced really bad. Too fast. Okay. Oof, that was a rough hit. Okay. But I am down. Yay, looks like I get to keep this plane. Alright. Anyway, if you watch this long, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. I will put my data tables here. And, yeah, thanks for watching. This is Doofiend, and I am signing off.